Lanson here. This vase here, just 3 hours ago, was peeled, faded, and shipped. It was an eyesore by any means for anyone's current use in a garden. But in a short period of time, even though you may not like the color green, I took this vase and made it something useful for this spring's garden. Watch me in my recording today where I take 3 vases and start from the very beginning to the very end, including even the planting, and how you can transform almost any ugly outdoor vase into a new use for you in the garden today. Vases that, I've been using for years, and how to bring them back to life so they look good in your landscape when you've got them full of flowers. As you can see, it's peeled and it's pretty bad. And I'm going to show you just a quick, easy way of bringing these back to good uses. Alright, to get the job done, to help you make your life easier when you're working on these old vases, wire brush, scraper, fresh piece of sandpaper, and you just start going to work. It's not that hard. It's just time consuming. First you want to start in the areas where you know you can get to it, and you just scrape everything off that you can get off that's loose. And then if that doesn't work, this thing does. But my suggestion is just to do the whole thing with the wire brush, then go back and scrape it, and then the final will be this sandpaper. Very big chunks of paint come right off. The final stage, the sandpaper. I've already started sanding this. Actually, I'm pretty much done with it. And like I said, if you see anything left, scrape it off, because when you repaint these, all it's going to do is hit that area that you didn't get down tight enough, and it's just going to come back off on you and bubble up, and then you'll be upset. So this is the way to get it down. And now the next step will be obviously to put some color back on these vases, vases, or whatever you want to call them. These things that I'm going to put compost and dirt and clay in, and then end up with some flowers for this year's spring. Okay, once you get the bases sanded and chipped out and brushed off, the next thing you want to do is dust it off. Before you actually start painting, some advice: put your paint in a smaller container so that you can seal the top quickly to keep the weather from putting a skin on the top of your paint, because paint's expensive, and once the skin is on the top, it mixes with the paint, and then if you're doing another job, you get these paint skins and flakes in your paint. The other real nice tool is a baggie. When you're doing your paintbrush and the phone rings, you don't want to leave this out exposed to the sunlight like I'm getting ready to do here. Just take it, wrap it in a little baggie like that. When it's got paint on it, you're ready to set it down just like that. You're ready to just set it on the ground. And that keeps it ready to go for you. So now with those little bits of information, the dusting, you don't want to get the bases very wet and then turn around and paint them. So just get the dust off of them. Man, beer sounds good right about now. So then I got to do the next 2 other bases. Today I'm doing 3 for the recording, and it'll give you an idea of how Scott Lanson restores his vases. And it also gives you a good idea because these I bought new at a local decorative store. But I mean, even if people throw away vases because they get really ugly really quick. Good example, if you want to go to a thrift store, Salvation Army or Goodwill, sometimes they have vases in there and they're pretty damn ugly. I mean, bad ugly. That's why they were given away. But you see what I'm doing here, and it doesn't take really long, and it can give you a good use. So let's see how I end up going with changing the color. The next step will be obviously painting them. Okay, there's the color I chose, as you see on the brush. Now, remember what I said? Take the lid, put it right over the top. Look at that. I mean, no spill, no nothing. Just put it away. Remember the little baggie? If I can find it. Here it is. Just stick it in there, wrap it on. Now, in the meantime, as you see, I've already painted the one vase. It's still drying, but it looks a lot better than it did when we started, didn't it? Wait a minute, does it? Man, I really want that beer. But yeah, it looks a lot better than it when we first started. So that's the way to do it. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hit this next vase. And I'll even show you a little bit on the painting on this one. And we'll see what they look like when I'm all done. Around the base first, since it's on the stump. Raise it up a little bit. Back. Just start going at it. Okay, we have now got this one painted, that one painted. This one we got to do yet. Not one drop on my clothes, even though I'm going like this. Oh, and the other tool that you might want to use or consider, these tree stumps, perfect. Nobody complains about the paint being flopped all over. Puts it at a higher level for you. Just makes painting great. And the other thing is, you know, I bought these vases in Sedona. I paid a cheap price actually for over there, Sedona, Arizona. I paid about 55 bucks a piece. When you turn around and see what they look like and what they ended up like, to save $55 times at least 3 vases here, you know, that's like $160, $165. That's worth, this is how much paint it's going to take to restore them. About 3/4 of just one of these little jobs and a little bit of work. But the best part is, since I don't have ice cold beer and these sort of look like festive Mexican festivities and all of that kind of stuff, well, I know it foams up when we do this, but it still makes it ice cold. This is part of the restoration of vases, vases. whatever the hell they're called, but you know, this is part of it. Now look at that. Look at that. Hardly any foam at all. Am I a pro or am I a pro? I'm a pro, but I'm also good at doing these kinds of things. So in a little while after my break, I'll have all 3 of them done, and then we'll go to the next phase of what I'll show you that I can quickly do with them. Enjoy. Enjoy spring, enjoy summer, enjoy beer. Oh, God, that's so good. Oh yeah, the one thing that I wanted to mention to you while I'm drinking this beer, in that yes, all 3 of them are painted. Don't they look great? Don't they just look great? Yeah, they do look great. But the one thing you got to remember is this is an exterior rated paint. It's not an interior paint. The difference is this can take the outside weather a little bit more than an interior paint, but because it's being used for vases and there's a lot of watering, it's still going to need maintenance. So you're only going to get a couple years out of this, and then in about 2, maximum 3 years, they're going to look like pretty much the way they started when I started recording this for you. But anyway, look at them. Perfect.
Toasting to spring.
Okay, now that we've got the bases made to look new again, now it's to fill them up and put them to use for this spring's growing season. So you just go from the wheelbarrow to the bases. I'm not in any hurry. You do that until they get, you know, pretty nice and level. In other videos, I've shown you how to actually take up the space in the vases so you're not putting so much composting in. And it's got a secret to do with aluminum cans. Well, it may not be a secret, but anyway, it's in another YouTube if you want to check out my composting YouTube. But yeah, in just a few minutes, I'll have stuff in the vases and the chips, and we'll be ready to put them in place. Okay, the final part after we've got the flowers in this case geraniums, is to put the chips on top so that the water and the rain and everything that hits it doesn't put mud all over the vases and everything else. So just get chips and gently put them in. Move them around just enough. And I'll show you what it looks like in a few. There's no point of you watching me do all 3 of them. So when I'm done, I'll put it back on. Okay, finished. It took part of the day, but not all day. And in that time, showing you how we went in transition from ugly peeled vases to what would appear to be new terracotta vases right here. And then you watched quickly how I put the earth in there, and then the plants, and then the chips. They've been watered, they're soaking. There you have it. As simple as that. I hope my video here helped you in your ways of gardening and making it a lot easier with what you probably already have at home. Enjoy your summer.